Hey, I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, thanks for pressing play on the video. As usual, spoiler alert. If you're okay with that, let's jump right into it. Taika Waititi's previous MCU film, 2017's Thor Ragnarok, grossed over $850 million, almost double 2011's Thor, which came in at $449.3 million, and significantly more than Dark World's $644.6 million. Ragnarok got the sub-franchise back on track after the abysmal second outing that we just talked about, a film most would rank towards the bottom of their MCU movie lists. We last saw Thor in the early part of 2019 during Avengers Endgame, where he sailed off into the cosmos with the Guardians of the Galaxy. This led people to think that he might be in James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and he still may, but now we know he's up for Thor 4 for Phase 4. Waititi's been busy with The Mandalorian, Akira, and Jojo Rabbit, but it's been reported ahead of San Diego Comic-Con 2019 that he has signed a deal to write and also direct the fourth Thor film. It was widely reported that many of the lead MCU actors like Hemsworth, Pine, Downey Jr.'s contracts were up after Avengers Endgame. He started off saying to USA Today contractually, right now, yeah, this is it. I'm done. I won't be playing the character again. Then, in April of 2019, Tessa Thompson spoke with LA Times and confirmed not only this, but that she wants to come back. And here's the quote. "I heard that a pitch has happened for another Thor film. I don't know how real that intel is, but I hear that the pitch has happened. I think the idea is Taika would come back." Interesting thoughts. In May of 2019, the Hollywood Reporter had this to say. Chris Hemsworth, i.e. Thor, who signed with Marvel for 5 movies in 2010, then renegotiated in 2017 for Infinity War and Endgame, putting himself in the $15 million to $20 million range, and this is important, and ready for the next phase of films. And so, with these quotes in mind, it's widely expected that Chris Hemsworth will return for Thor. That's not Thor, that's Thor, the post-fat Thor, God of Thunder. After Asgard was destroyed by Thanos and his Black Order, the survivors settled on Earth, formed a Nordic village, and are led by Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie. At the end of Endgame, Thor took off on the Benatar with the Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn already has his script ready to shoot after he's done with the Suicide Squad, and Taika's now back, so it's safe to assume, despite the name drop, that we aren't getting as Guardians of the Galaxy. In fact, Taika tweeted just this fact. So that brings us to our question and the subject of this video. What will Thor 4 be about? Who will make their return and who will make their debut? Thor himself, obviously, and based on story and quotes, will return. Valkyrie should be returning as well. Mike and Korg seem close to Thor. Maybe they'll put down their video game controllers, unplug their Wi-Fi, and join Thor in space. Hulk's rights are still with Universal, so he needs to keep being in team-up situations like in Thor Ragnarok. He could make another appearance as Professor Hulk, maybe. Now, I'd love to see Angela show up, but her story, retconned after Marvel acquired her rights, seemed to be the story that they used for Hela as Thor's long-lost brother. I'd love to see this iconic image of Thor versus Silver Surfer recreated on screen, but again, that's wild speculation. Imagine Keanu Reeves as Silver Surfer battling Hemsworth's Thor on the Rainbow Bridge. I mean, come on, I'd buy my tickets right now. But who would win the fight? So Loki's getting his own Disney Plus show, and that should follow him through time as he adventures through the MCU timeline. I really like the interaction between Thor and his brother, so I hope at least part of this story is the God of Thunder seeking out the God of Mischief. One of the rumored characters to antagonize Loki on his streaming series, and keep in mind this is all connected to the MCU, is a villain named Ulik the Troll. This is important. Ulik the Troll awakened Mangog in a fantastic story that carried itself out through Thor 154 through issue 157, which was called To Wake the Mangog. Mangog is actually the physical manifestation of the hatred of billions of lives, this entire race that was taken by Odin eons ago. Mangog was actually one who was resurrected, searching for the Odin sword to pull it out of its scabbard, which would end the entire universe, and then he would get his revenge on not only Odin, but Odin's son. If the movie then wants to introduce us to Beta Ray Bill, a hero who's been teased obviously in Thor Ragnarok on the Sakaar Tower, Mangog could easily be a stand-in for Surtur, who was part of Beta Ray Bill's debut in Walt Simonson's amazing run in the comic books. You couldn't do the normal story with Surtur and Thor being unworthy, as these have already been touched on and we don't want to rehash, do we? The Revengers were a team formed by Thor and Thor Ragnarok to defeat Hela. In Thor 4, we could have Thor, Valkyrie, Lady Sif, Beta Ray Bill, Korg, and Mike for a new Revengers team, or they could even call themselves Thor Corps, which is something that we know about from comic books. Another really cool story is one of Jason Aaron's, which involved a character named Gore the God Butcher. He prayed to the god for help, received none, and subsequently lost his entire family. Gore wanted to kill all of the gods in the universe. He was so angry about losing his family. The God Butcher also has a really powerful weapon called the Necro Sword. In the story, he fights all these Thors through the past and the future, all up to the current day, all throughout history. The time travel element could align with the Loki series, which is also supposedly a time travel story. Then there's Siege. If we believe the Dark Avengers Dark Reign rumors that we talked about in one of my recent videos, Siege would be a natural follow-up to that. Norman Osborn is in charge of Hammer, which in the MCU could very well be Justin Hammer. And also in charge of the Dark Avengers, perhaps we could also get the Dark Avengers by way of this, but also, and this is important, Asgard was located on Earth as it is in the MCU. Through Loki's manipulations, Iron Patriot and Dark Avengers attacked Asgard, which was actually in this story the last holdout of Osborn's rule. But at the end, this character named Sentry is taken into the sun, the Dark Avengers are defeated, and all is well. Even the Superhero Registration Act, which was the MacGuffin of Civil War, is actually repealed. But for this to work, as it is in the comics anyhow, would require other rumors to become true first. So there's also this rumor about the Enchantress. Now, not Cara Delevingne's Suicide Squad witch. This is Marvel's Amora the Enchantress, but the source on this is questionable. Amora does cast spells, but the problem is she's heavily tied to Scourge, who died already. Scourge, the Executioner, went out in a blaze of glory in Thor Ragnarok. Amora had a sister named Lorelei, who actually appeared on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where she encounters Coulson, May, Fitz, and of course Lady Sif. She ends up in an Asgardian prison. So while the source is questionable, there is connection and precedence already, and because of that, it bears consideration. At one point, Enchantress joined the Masters of Evil, led by Civil War's Baron Zemo, and who were a precursor of sorts to the Thunderbolts. Another team that's wildly rumored to be in the Feige pipeline and something that we've talked about on this channel before. Actually, Enchantress did try to resurrect Scourge at one point by attacking Yggdrasil, the mythological name for the world tree, the mystical tree that connects all of the realms. In terms of when we might see the film, we know it won't be 2020, as those slots are going to Black Widow and the Eternals, and 2021 slots, 3 dates, are presumably filled as well. So it would be 2022 at the earliest before we would see Thor 4, which makes sense. And that would be after Guardians 3, which I think will come out in 2021. So that's it, my friends, for this one. Hopefully we'll learn a bit more at 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. But now it's your turn. I want to hear your thoughts and theories, so let's continue the conversation in the comment section below. If you like content like this and haven't already done so, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can be a part of all our conversations, new and old. I'm Jesse. This is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.